Yeah, ask and you shall receive. That was yesterday. And today we have Chris Bassitt on Hot Stove. Oakland right-hander Chris Bassitt coming off a great year. Chris, good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're good, man. What is going on with the autograph? We got to get right to the John Hancock. I couldn't see a single letter that was involved in your name.
Yeah, so how fan fests are and how obviously every fan fest probably is, we're sitting around and signing autographs, and this girl comes up with a mesh jersey. And
the worst material to write on.
The worst thing you could possibly write on. All the little holes, just grab the Sharpie and just don't let go. So I was basically in a panic because I literally just tried to like write a C and I couldn't draw that. So I was like trying to fill in the gaps, and after like the seventh or eighth attempt of like trying to piece together the letters and numbers and all this stuff, I was like, all right. So I put my Sharpie down, and she goes, I want to say Manaea was next to me, and he signs it, and I'm like, that is the worst thing I've ever signed. So I thought that signature was over with, and then I saw it all over the internet kind of thing, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was a little embarrassed, to say the least.
So we got a do-over for you because this is Matt's niece. Mm-hmm. I'm suggesting we get her an Oakland A's jersey, and you can re-sign it for her. What do you think of that?
I agree. We need like a team signature, non-mesh, like laid out, like.
Yeah, we'll hook it up.
We can get that done.
I get it. I get the difficulty of the mesh. We should have had you actually sign a piece of paper and hold it up just so we can see what it really looks like.
I get made fun of my signature a lot, especially from my parents and friends saying
Oh, so you got a bad one anyway?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's bad. It's just bad. But hey, like add the mesh jersey to it, and it's an absolute just crapshoot.
Got it. Hey, but before we move on, we should also mention that your pitching coach watched this whole exchange yesterday too, and Scott Emerson contacted the network and said, I'm watching MLB Network, and they're doing a segment on autographs from FanFest, and they're talking about scribble autographs. I think one is mine. I remember dragging the pen. They'll reveal it later in the show, but please, and Scott went on to write.
Change the page.
Yeah, but please.
Please change the page.
This is how we roll here, Chris. we get locked up. Anyway, so Emerson was on the jersey a little later. Here it was.
Yeah, I know. Emo was watching the show because yesterday I got a good old text from him saying that signature might be the worst thing you've ever done. So,
all right. So let's talk about spring training coming up, man. You got to be really excited. You guys got a fantastic club. As you look at what's going on around the league and your opportunity now, where you guys are at, you excited about spring?
Yeah, to say the least. I mean, I think our division got even better. I mean, the Angels made some pretty great moves, but obviously we had a pretty great year as a team last year, but I mean, we're adding Manaea essentially back. We're adding Puck, we're adding Luzardo. So, I mean, we got a pretty great team on paper, but obviously you got to kind of play the game. So we'll see.
I love asking guys, what are you working on? What did you take away from last year? What are you working on this winter? And where do you see your improvements being?
I would say what I was working on is just to continue to stay healthy and more so just build off of what I kind of did last year. But I think from last year, what I'm taking from last year to this year is more so just being more comfortable in all the situations. I mean, you go to different ballparks, and some ballparks, I mean, honestly, just like the human factor, some are overwhelming. So, I mean, being at every ballpark now is kind of fun, and it's just like, all right, I've been here before, I've faced this guy before. So, I mean, just the experience of being in those ballparks is going to be kind of key for me.
Yeah, and in terms of the ballpark you pitch in at home, and it's no secret that the Coliseum's a pretty good place to pitch. Do you guys talk about that as a staff? Is that a part of your approach and maybe your comfort factor at home?
Yeah, as long as it's not a football field half the time.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I know the ground screw people are extremely excited, but I mean, Oakland has such advantages. I mean, you go to different ballparks, you go to like New York and whatnot, and the ball flies, and it's like there's zero chance that ball's a home run in Oakland. So you steal a lot of outs with the foul ground, and then I mean obviously to have the foul ground that we have is one thing, but to have Olsen and Chapman on the corners to run basically every possible thing down is just a blessing.
I know that at FanFest, a lot of people had questions for Mike Fiers because, let's face it, everybody was talking about the comments and what happened in Houston, and Mike was in the middle of that, of course. Have you had a chance to discuss with Mike what things are going to look like in the spring? Do you think the questions and the conversation will die down now that he's made the statement?
I don't know if they're going to die down basically all this year, just because I think it's such a hot topic throughout the league, especially between players and what kind of transpired. I mean, it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, knowing how hard that team was to beat, and then to kind of know that it may have been altered in some way by just them getting help from things that are outside of baseball. But I mean, for me, for this whole situation, I'm just beyond thankful to be part of Oakland, where I was not put in that situation. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Say I got traded over. Say like Verlander. Verlander was in a tough spot just because he got traded over, and it's like, hey, this is the system we're using, and I don't know how I would have been able to handle that. I mean, that's just a crazy whole situation. So I'm extremely grateful to be part of Oakland that I never had to deal with that.
No doubt about it. No doubt. Well, hey, go get him in the spring. We're looking forward to seeing you a full season doing your thing, being healthy. I love that. And the nasty, funky motion, that curveball coming out of it, I don't know how that hit you.
Why'd you ditch your slider before we go?
Because it was getting walloped. That's why. I think we're gonna try to add that back, but I mean tweak it a little bit here and there. But yeah, I mean, it was just the numbers told me to ditch it.
Got it.
With your motion, that fastball curveball combination is filthy. Hard to pick that up.
Congrats on a great year, Mike. Thanks for having some fun with us on the signatures from FanFest. And
that's Chris.
Chris, sorry,
the other guy.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Chris.
Okay. Mike's still the hot topic.
Chris, we appreciate the time, man. Thanks. We'll see you in spring training.